Hello, thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice. I welcome you and honor you for choosing to take this time for yourself, to be kind to yourself, to give yourself the gift of the benefits of yoga. This is one of 4 videos that I'm going to be doing, and one of them is an introduction to yoga. So it's fine if you've never practiced yoga before to be here now. If you're curious to get a little bit more of an overview, I invite you to check out the intro. In any case, yoga is accessible to anyone. You don't need experience. All you need is to show up and to be willing to explore. So I want to make sure before we start that you have a chair that you're comfortable sitting in, that your feet are connected to the earth when you're sitting, and also that your back is supported. So if you have a deeper chair and it doesn't allow you to rest your feet comfortably on the floor, you might want to get a pillow or a rolled up blanket or a towel, anything that can go behind your back to bring you forward a little bit so your feet can be comfortable on the floor. Also want to make sure that your chair has non-skid feet. We don't want it sliding around. And I have mine on a mat. A wooden floor carpet is fine, just to make sure that it's not going to skid or slide. And then just one last safety note. I love practicing yoga in my bare feet, wiggling my toes and having that sensation. And feel free to do that. If you feel like you want something on your feet, I would rather you wear shoes and instead of having just socks on your feet, because socks can be slippery on a wood floor or even carpeting. I want you to be safe and feel sturdy and stable as we move through the practice. Today's class will include some seated poses, and we'll also be standing up for a short time. And then we're also going to go down to the floor. So we'll be lying on the mat. So it'll be a little sample of 3 different positions or places to be when you practice yoga. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, and we begin our practice by just settling into the seat beneath you, making sure you are comfortable, the back is supported, and just drawing attention to the space you're in and the place right here around you. Just carve out this little spot here for you for this time. Have the opportunity to draw your attention inward and to just for a few moments, not have to worry about everything else that's going on outside of this place and this time. In yoga, we practice being present. It helps us to find this space. And one way to do that is to pay attention and notice the breath. So begin by increasing your breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. If it feels good to you to take a nice big breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, kind of sigh it out. That can be a great tension reliever, kind of let off some steam, releasing emotion and stress. Let's do that again. Breathing out and settling into a more natural breath. Just notice the coolness of the air moving in through the nostrils. And as we do pay attention, being mindful, we notice the breath, the air moving in and opening the chest. Perhaps sensing a sense of spaciousness, expansion, maybe freedom. And with the next breath, we're going to explore moving the breath around more fully into the upper body. Take a nice breath in and let this breath go all the way down to your belly, low belly. You can even put your hands around your low belly, and with the inhale, Feel the belly grow big, grow into your hands, the palms. Let it expand and let it release. One more time. Big belly breath. And out. And with the next breath, move your hand up to the middle of your abdomen, around the ribs. You can even bring your hands to the sides if you like, or just keep them right in front here to the midsection of the abdomen. Inhale and send the breath down into the belly, and then let it fill up into the rib cage. More space, more expansion. Exhale, releasing, letting go. One more time. And exhale. And this time, bring one hand to your mid-belly and one hand to your heart space. And just allow this breath to fill up your whole upper body, starting with the belly, into the ribs, and up into your chest. Opening with inhale. And releasing, letting go with the exhale, creating a sense of openness and expansion in the body, freedom to move, to explore, to move through the practice. And we'll have a few reminders about bringing the breath in as we move, keeping that awareness. Breath is always there. Bring the hands to the lap and just begin to wake up the shoulders a little bit. Sitting upright, allow one of your shoulders, it doesn't really matter which one, to come up towards the ear, and then just release it. And then the second side, up towards the ear, and release. And repeat again, one shoulder up and relax. And we'll do that again. And down. One more time. And at your own pace, whatever feels comfortable. We're just getting started here, so slow movements to warm up the joints can be really nice. And let's just take a minute to move both shoulders in a little bit more circular direction. So bring both shoulders up, roll them back. You might hug your shoulder blades together a little bit, and then allow the shoulders to come down and forward. Up, back, down, and forward. And you might notice your hands moving backward and forward on your thighs as your shoulders rotate. So just let them go along for the ride. Nice kind of contact between your upper and lower body. And now pause, we'll reverse directions. So bring the shoulder blades together. And then the shoulders come up, forward, and down. Draw the shoulders back, up, forward, and down. And one more time. You have a sense of combining it with the breath. We'll just take one more rotation here. Back, inhale. Shoulders up, inhale, and exhale, forward and down. So you get a sense of what it feels like to coordinate the breath with the movement. We'll have more opportunities to do that. So bringing your hands in front of you, clasp your fingers. I'm going to turn sideways here and reaching forward, extend your arms. The arms are heavy, so if this is not comfortable, allow the hands to rest on the tops of your thighs. Keeping the chest lifted in whatever position you want your arms to be. Inhale. And exhale, press the knuckles away from your chest. And pause, inhale. Press the knuckles. And there's no need to force, just feel a nice opening in the back between the shoulder blades. One more time, feel free to just tuck your chin. Try to avoid the temptation to round your upper back. We don't want to move that part, but just tuck the chin a little bit. Wake up the back of the neck, exhale, and then come back to a resting position. Bringing the hands to the side of each side of your hips. You can just let the hands be right at the side, or perhaps you can reach behind your hips. And if you roll your shoulder blades up and back, you might have a little more room and space to let your hands and fingers touch behind you. In any case, find a comfortable position without strain on your shoulders. And inhale, lift the chest, hug the shoulder blades together. Feel a sense of openness in the front of the chest this time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, relax. Inhale one more time. And relax. And now coming back around. Bring your arms out in front of you and allow them to come wide if that's comfortable for you. If not, bring the hands down to the side and just open them, palms facing forward. Inhale. Exhale, cross your arms. Give yourself a hug. Wherever your hands land is perfect. And exhale, release. And this time, cross the arms on the second side. You might have forgotten which arm was on top. So this time, switch. So the second arm, the opposite one, is on top when you cross over your chest, giving yourself a nice hug. And release. I'm going to sit forward on my chair a little bit so I have a little bit more freedom of movement. You feel free to move forward or stay right where you are. Allow one arm, doesn't matter which one, to just come down to the side of your chair. And we're working our way into a side stretch. So find a position that you like, and you may adjust it as we begin to stretch. Your hand can be at the waist, maybe it's at the shoulder, maybe it's up over your head. I'm going to just start here for now with me, and I'm going to inhale and then just slowly begin to lean over to the side, allowing this whole side of my body to open. I want to notice the shoulder wants to roll forward, so you might just guide it, ease it back a little bit. Maybe even turning your head towards that upper shoulder, maybe glance towards the ceiling. Breathe into that space and then come back up to center. Second side, the arm comes down, second one comes up. Maybe this time I'll bring this arm up over my head. Inhale and lengthen along the side. Exhale, just gently opening up this whole side of my body, breathing into it, creating space, room for movement, and coming back to center. Bring your feet so that they're completely connected to the earth. And take a nice inhale in. And then begin to, with the exhale, begin to move your upper body, your abdomen, your shoulders, and your head to one side. And don't worry too much about the breath. Just have the sensation coming back to center and then moving to the second side. Allow your hands to slide forward and backward on top of your thighs. And then just gently, kind of like a washing machine, I guess, rotating in the middle of your body. The shoulders and the head follow. Back and forth. And then coming back to center, just pausing for a moment. We're going to move into standing position now. And I'm going to recommend a method, a way to come up to standing to avoid putting pressure or too much load on the upper back. So we learn to use our leg muscles to come to a standing position. I'm going to come forward on the chair. Finding my hip crease here, I'm going to use the inside of my hand, the pinky finger, bringing my feet maybe a little wider than hip width apart. With an inhale, I'm going to lengthen my spine. The exhale, connect my feet to the earth, activate my quads, and come on up to standing. Building the quad muscles, the leg muscles that can support you in movement, in balance, helps protect your knees. lots of benefits for developing those muscles to support your spine so that your spine doesn't have to take that weight as we move from one position to another. I'm going to turn my chair sideways now and moving into standing cat and cow pose. So I'll bring my hands to the back of the chair and then step back maybe 1 or 2 steps, keeping the knees soft and slightly bent. I'm going to take an inhale, and it's actually cow cat pose. First, we bend the knees, inhale, lift the chest, and allow the tailbone to curl away from the chair. So you're arching the back, and then with an exhale, keep the knees bent, keep the upper back flat, just tuck the chin into cat pose. The arms can stay long, and then just moving again with the inhale. Tailbone scoops away from the chair, I guess, towards the back of the mat, and in exhale, lower the chin. One more time. Lengthening, extending the spine with the inhale, and with the exhale, curling the tailbone towards the chair back. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, scoop the tailbone away from the chair, up towards the ceiling, and on the exhale, bring the tailbone, scoop it towards the back of the chair. You can really work some of the pelvic muscles moving like that. And then come on up to standing. Another option is if you're somewhere and you feel like you want to just stretch out that low spine, that lumbosacral area, is to just do a standing cat and cow without a chair. If you're ever somewhere where you just feel like you need to just kind of create a little movement there, you can bring the hands to the top of your thighs. And same thing, inhale, scoop the tailbone out, lift the chest, look upward a little bit. Exhale, tuck the chin, and then scoop the tailbone forward. So that's another option too. Go ahead and come on up to standing. So we're going to move into a little bit of a balance pose. We all need to work on balance as we age. It tends to be a little more unsteady, so it's a good practice to just build that ability. I'll bring my hand to the side of the chair and placing my weight on whatever, choose one leg, connect your foot firmly to the earth. Shifting your weight to that foot, just allow the opposite leg to come up. Bending the knee, you can draw it up if you want, as much as you want to. And then go ahead and lower it down. I'm going to turn sideways here so maybe you can see that. I'm going to use my wall too. So I'm going to shift my weight to the right foot, bring the left knee up and down. From here, and if it feels better to you to keep your toes touching as we work into balance, make sure that you do what feels right to you. So you can leave your toes here on the floor. Just begin to experiment. I'll move back this way with what it feels like to release your hand from the chair. So bringing the knee up, or maybe just the toe to the floor. You can play with what does it feel like to lose that connection, or to practice, have that sense of really being on one foot. Feel free anytime to release the foot to the floor and relax the standing leg. Let's move to the second side. Bringing your weight to the second leg, and you might shift your position so that you have the ability to connect with something with your hands. And just draw the knee up. Keep the chest lifted. And from here, if you want to play with releasing your hand from the chair, that's fine. You might even want to practice with bringing the hands to the heart center. Or keep your toe just sort of connected. Maybe this is just what you need for practicing balance today. And then release that foot to the floor. Another opportunity while you're standing on one foot, is to bring the leg up. We're building muscles on the standing leg while we do this, also muscles in the quad. Feel free to make circles with your ankles, circling to one side and then to the other. And maybe point and flex your toes while you're here. Creating some movement in the ankles, flexibility, and then release. And now second side. So at any point, you can actually keep your toe on the floor if you like to, and just move your ankle from side to side. Lower the heel, lift the heel. So as always in yoga practice, you adapt and you find what is best for you. There's never a way that it has to be. Whatever way you choose is exactly what it should be. So I'm going to lower my foot now and then turn towards the back of my chair. And just moving into a warrior one sequence. I'll step back just a little bit and then step one foot forward. I might step my back foot back just a little bit so that my front leg is bent and my back heel is connected to the earth. You feel free to leave your hands on the back of the chair or to bring the arms out in front of you. Maybe the arms will come up here. Maybe the hands can be at the waist or on the chair. Inhale, straighten the front leg, lift the back heel. Exhale, lower the heel and bend the front leg. Inhale and exhale. It's a nice rocking, kind of a soothing motion. One more time. And then back. Switch legs, step your back foot forward and your front foot back. Back heel is connected to the earth, the front knee is bent. Inhale, straighten the front leg, lift the back heel, exhale, lower the heel. Inhale, lift the chest, maybe lift the gaze, coming back. One more time. And back to connect on solid ground with the earth. Step your foot forward and moving into downward facing dog. Bring your hands to the back of the chair and then step your feet maybe 3-4 steps back so you'll begin to sense your shoulders are lowering. You'll find a position that feels like just the right spot for you. Begin to lengthen. I'm going to wiggle my feet back just a little bit. Keep the knees soft. I'm just going to begin to lengthen my arms, push my hips and my thighs back. Allow my head to just lower slowly. And maybe settle right in between the inside of my elbows. Pausing here for a moment. Lengthening the spine, the low back. Push the thighs back a little bit, lift the hips, even more length and stretch. And just gaze here, maybe a moment of reflection. Keeping the knees soft. Inhale, lift the head and the shoulders, and then step forward to standing. So now we're going to move down to the floor. And it's important to be mindful about moving to the floor. So I'm going to show you a recommended way to do that. A lot of people have trouble getting down and up from the floor. So if you have your chair here, what I'll ask you to do is to come down to your knees. Use the chair to keep your back upright. Roll over onto your hips. And then allow your legs to come out and stretch out in front of you. I'm going to push my chair away a little bit. And then if you feel more comfortable, rolling onto your side to come all the way down to the floor, lowering onto your elbow, and then rolling over on your back. That's an option. Some people like to use this opportunity to Engage the abs, and then come down to a lying position with the abdomen. I guess I better get my head on the mat. Oh, so this is a really nice opportunity, just lying flat on your back on a surface that will not be too saggy, but will allow you to really let the earth, the floor support your weight and allow some movement of your legs and hips. It doesn't strain the back body. So just begin first by drawing your right knee towards your chest. You can bring your hands behind your thigh or bring your hands on top of your knee and just draw your knee towards your chest to feel a nice stretch in the thigh, keeping a little arch in the back. And then bring your foot to the floor and then just slide it straight out, second side. Slide your foot up, and when you're ready, just bring your knee up, drawing it towards your chest, hugging it in, stretch in the thigh and the hip, and then go ahead, lower that knee down. Second side, draw the knee up, and this time if you bring your hands to the back of your thigh. If it's helpful to you, find a towel, or sometimes we use a yoga strap behind the thigh. It makes our arms longer. And we also can use a strap or a towel or anything that's got a little bit of length to begin to extend and supporting the thigh here, or possibly using a strap on the bottom of the foot. Allow the leg to extend, bring your toes to your nose, stretching out the hamstring. And there's no point in creating a lot of force. We're just waking up these muscles in the legs. Take a minute here to circle, point and flex, and bending the knee in, lower it to the floor, and moving to the second side. You can find things that help you adapt. Maybe staying right here is just exactly where you need to be. You can begin to open up the back of the leg, pressing the heel towards the ceiling, pausing here if this is what feels right, maybe extending, opening, and finding whatever amount of stretch and space feels right for you. And then bringing that foot back to the floor. Draw both knees up towards the chest. I'm gonna scoot out here just a little bit. Bring your feet hip width apart and your knees together. Just allow your knees to fall together and your feet to be a hip width apart. And just pause here for a moment to rest. And then open the knees a little bit so they're in line with your feet. And you can keep your hands on your chest. You can bring your arms out to the side and just begin to slowly allow the knees to fall over to one side. And if it feels good, you can pause here, maybe turn your head to the opposite side. Inhale, lift the knees back up to center and rotate to the second side. So just allowing the knees just to gently on their own with gravity, just fall towards the floor. They don't have to go to the floor. And bring your arms to whatever position feels right. Feeling a nice stretch in the hips and the upper body. It's kind of a full body twist. And then come back to center. Keeping your knees bent, bring one foot up across and rest it on the top of your other thigh so that you're kind of got a figure four with your leg that's on top. And just rest the ankle on top of the opposite knee and then use the hand on the same side of the knee that's up to just gently rock the knee open, ever so gently. You'll know what feels right, what feels good. Just massaging the hip joint, the ball and socket. The movement is good first. lubricating the joint. And then pause, bring your foot to the floor, second side. Bringing your foot on top of the knee, and then you'll notice differences on each side probably too. And so what feels right on one side might be different, might not feel right on the second side. So just massaging that hip joint. And then bringing this knee to the chest, draw the second knee up to the chest, both knees to the chest. And you can put your hands on top of your kneecaps. Keep your knees and feet just a little bit wide. Depending on how your back's doing, use this to press your back to the floor and then move your knees away and create a little arch in your back. Bring your knees forward. And then you move your knees away a little bit. There's a little arch, another little lumbosacral massage, low back spine movement. And then finally, hug your knees to your chest. Pause for a minute here, press the low back into the floor and breathe. And then allow your feet to come back down to the floor. And moving into the end of our practice, I'm going to roll onto my side. I'm going to get back into my chair. If you feel wonderful lying on the floor, on the mat, and you're comfortable and you feel like your head is supported and your back is supported, feel free to just stay here for just a few minutes of Shavasana and rest. If you choose to come back into your chair, I'll ask you to roll over onto your side, come up onto your elbow, using your hands and arms to come up to a seated position. And I'm going to make sure my chair is close by so I can press into my arms using my feet to come up over to the chair and come on up to my chair. And I'm going to have to move it back over this way for you. And then finding my seat again, remembering to find the hip crease, pushing my hips back, using my leg muscles to come back and sit down in my chair. So whether you're lying on the floor or sitting in your chair, begin to have a sense of being comfortable, sort of nestling in, finding that sweet spot of feeling very supported, connected. As we begin to move into the last part of our practice, Shavasana, which is the beautiful opportunity to allow the body to integrate and absorb the practice, absorb the movements. We honor the body by giving it this time to process, to rest, and to do what the body knows it needs to do. Sometimes the mind isn't as aware as our body. So just begin by closing the eyes, coming back to the breath, just still here, noticing the inhale coming through the nose, entering into the chest, the belly, the ribs, filling up again. Allowing the upper body, the shoulders and the arms to relax. The arms and the hands are resting in the lap, feeling heavy but supported. And as we continue breathing, the hips become heavy. The whole back of the body, if you're lying down, is heavy but supported. And the hips and the legs are all completely supported by the earth. Feet are connected. We are held in safety. protected by the stability of the earth. And we take a few moments to absorb all the energy we can. And just a few more breaths. Just honoring our need to rest, to nurture a little bit longer. And now slowly begin to open the eyes, and feel free to stay lying down if you're lying, or to join me in that position, to bring the hands to the heart center. And sitting up, if you're sitting, bow your head. You can tuck your chin in any case. Bring the hands to the heart center, acknowledging the heart, the goodness inside each of us. The light in my heart honors the light in each of yours. Namaste. And lower the hands, lift the head, open the eyes. And thank you so much for being here and exploring yoga practice, being kind to yourself, good to yourself, nourishing your body, your mind, your heart.